It's a bullet factory, production, quality control, crating, transportation, and the bullets are going to start here, cross the ocean, and be loaded into magazines. The man in the suit is Yuri, the world's largest arms dealer. He has a real prototype. The world's first arms dealer, this movie based on his story, exposes the cruel side of the World War. In that year, Yuri was still young and working in his family's restaurant. One day he saw a neighborhood gangster in fighting, and two AK-47 wielding gangsters went on a shooting spree and ended up being killed by 2 shots. Yuri picked up a shell casing at the scene, and he suddenly realized that this was life, so he embarked on the path of selling arms. At first he had no money, no connections, and no experience, and the bigwigs in his circle looked down on him. But this man hit everyone in the face with his strength. In 1984, the U.S. Army withdrew from Lebanon, leaving behind a large number of discarded guns. These guns were all sold as scrap metal, and Yuri bought them all in one fell swoop. He had French, British, Israeli, Ukrainian passports, and American visas. So he sold the guns all over the world. He sold them to whoever could afford them. He didn't care what he did with the gun or who he killed. He sold to the left as well as to the right, to terrorists as well as to pacifists. Sometimes he even sells the gun to hostile parties. What's the morality of that? He sure doesn't get it. Everywhere Yuri goes, war breaks out and becomes hell on earth. That's why he's known by many as the Merchant of Death. He also invented all sorts of trade code words like bazooka for mom, rocket for child, and AK-47 for King of Angels. He has personally seen Lebanese children get their heads blown off by the guns he sells, and he has often had all sorts of weapons held to his head. Once he was even shot in the stomach by a black Lombard gangster. He's even blown up his own co-partner with his own hands. The business was a dance on the knife's edge, but he made a fortune every time. In 1991, taking advantage of the collapse of the Soviet Union, Yuri bought out officials and acquired a large amount of cut Soviet weapons, guns, ammunition, tanks, armored vehicles, and helicopter gunships. He got rich. He bought all the killing machines we only see in the movies. He's successful, going from being a waiter in a diner to an international arms dealer with hundreds of billions of dollars and a huge arms empire.